All righty. Good morning. Here we are once again. It is Sunday, October 12th here, and a little bit behind, but that's all right. So, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. Two things, really. First, I want to say a short word on Patia. And second, I want to talk about my own 10 go to places. If I were to move, where would I move? Um, and really, there's only a couple that I would move to, but if I had to, in a pinch, I would go to 10 places. So I'm going to name those 10 places. They never really make these dirty coffees correct. I went to three places and only one of them made them the way they're supposed to make them. The milk is supposed to be very chilled, almost freezing. It's supposed to be very, very cold. Now, I went to a place yesterday instead of this place because I came in late. I had to do some things and I wanted to just go to the grocery and to get some office supplies. And I got this dirty coffee, and the coffee was like the thing was like room temperature, the milk. I come here now, and I understand it's chilled. It's a little better than yesterday, but it's not as cold as it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be very, very cold. So now I'm going on a hunt now to figure out what the best place is for a dirty coffee. That's neither here nor there because if I never find it, then I never find it. If I find it, great. But I want to talk about Patty. I want to talk about the 10 places that I'm going to go. Before we get started, the Thai baht is 32.68 to the dollar, which is pretty damn good for now. I hope it hits 33, goes above 33, and then I'll be like, all right, this hope it stays here for a long, long time. But if it's anything over 32, and I'm pretty happy. 74 AQI, which I'm not happy about. It's not so good. 80 degrees right now, high of 89, low of 78, and the feel like temperature is 85 degrees. It's 86, the humidity, 86, which is, it is a little muggy out, but it's not that bad. Coming over here, I was pretty cool because of the temperature. There is a heavy rain warning for Bangkok coming up, and there should be some afternoon rain all this week. But this is the rainy. Well, it, basically, it rains now. Now is kind. I want to say the rainy season, but um, listen, Thailand rains all the time, and this is really about the last month that it's going to be the rainy season. So hopefully, things will kind of dry up a little bit, and it'll get a little bit easier here to get around and to do things. You don't have to carry an umbrella around. My umbrella just broke, so I'm looking for a really good umbrella. And I don't want one of these little tiny ones that barely covers you up. I don't want that anymore. I want comfort. I want convenience. So I'm looking for a real big, good brand and a very solid umbrella. And for those, you got to pay anywhere from about 50 to 150 bucks. They're not like the little $3 ones you get at the store. So anyway, let's talk about Patia because that's what I want to talk about. Now, Patia used to be free, fun, and honest about what it was, and it was an adult playground where people came to let loose and spend money and enjoy their lives, doing whatever they wanted. And now the government wants to sanitize it. They've been wanting to for a long time. They close bars early. They overregulate the nightlife, and they crack down on foreigners. The very foreigners who input the money, who bring the money into the city. And so they're the lifeblood of the city. They're trying to force Pattaya into a moral box that never existed in the first place. The city's success came from being raw, open, and real, not from pretending to be something it's not. And the more they clamp down, the more they suffocate their economy, the nightlife, and the soul of what made Pattaya famous worldwide. Listen, I don't even recognize it anymore. The last time I went there, I just go, oh my God. And, quite frankly, I wouldn't have given, I might have given, I was in the place where there was about 100 people, 100 girls dancing. I might have given one or two of them money to go with me. That would have been it. Maybe one or two. Depends on what they were like. The rest of them were pigs. I wouldn't have went with any of them. And the guys I were with wouldn't have gone with any of them. They were just like, oh, God. And I see the ones standing out there trying to get people to come in and, oh, please come inside and all this. And I'm just like, no, thank you. And, every time the government is questioned, every time the media comes out with something, it's always, it might damage Thailand's reputation. It might damage the city's reputation. That's just bullshit. I mean, seriously, the world already knows what Pattaya is. They know what Thailand's all about. The first time I came here, not the first time, when I moved here, my mother said, oh, I heard you can get anything in Thailand. I was like, well, yeah, just about. Um, but, people come here because they want the freedom that they cannot have back home. And that is the country's, and especially Pattaya, that's the real appeal. And instead of acting ashamed of it, the government should just own it. That they're like on their little moral high ground. They want to be little goody two shoes. Oh no, Thailand is not like that. We don't have sex before marriage, that kind of thing. There are no prostitutes in Pattaya. That is the biggest crock of BS I've ever heard in my life. Okay, now another thing I think they should, they should stop trying to be moral gatekeepers. That's what they kind of are. Just be pragmatic about the situation. Hey, this is what earns us big money here. Stop really, here's the thing, cut back on the visa free entries that attract the short-term opportunists, the guys who can get by. And we're not just talking about Indians or Israelis or Chinese or Russian, just the people who come in, they don't want to spend any money, or they spend very, very little. They come here for 4 days or whatever, a week. Get rid of these kind of visas. That's just ridiculous. I mean, why give them visa free? They didn't have visa free before, and there was a reason why. Give the long-term, law-abiding expats and tourists room to breathe, because Thailand doesn't need to hide what it is. It needs to stop pretending and lean into it. And what reputation they have is not hurting their country. It's the hypocrisy and the bureaucracy behind it that is hurting the country. That's my say for today. And, I don't particularly love Pattaya, but it is what it is. And, I've been there when I was in my beginning years here. I went all the time. I went there and, partied and had a good time. And, it's fine if you go there and you know what you're going there for. To me, I just wouldn't want to live in the heart of the action. It's just me. You want to go there, go ahead, have at it, have fun. There's no reason why you can't. I don't want to live there because I don't want to hear all the bullshit lies, and I just don't want to hear it. And I know there's a lot of good people there. So You know, like I said, it is what it is. But stop lying about what it really is. I mean, you go down, you go down Beach Road, you go down Main Street. There's no prostitutes working there. I mean, let's be real. Unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. I've been living here now for a long time, and I've watched this place change from a quiet, rough, around the edges country to one that is even more beautiful in many ways, but it's a lot more complicated now. And back in the early 90s, Bangkok was raw. There were few high rises, there were fewer foreigners, and if you found someone speaking English outside the tourist zones, that was pretty rare. And if you fast forward to today, Thailand is wired, paved up, built up, and it's increasingly expensive, but it is still Thailand. The trick is knowing where it still feels like Thailand. And people often ask me, where I would live in Thailand. Now, obviously, I live in Bangkok, and there are reasons why I live in Bangkok. I do like Bangkok. I don't really like what it's become where I live. It's a lot more overcrowded. There's a lot more people. There's more foreigners. And, I'm ready to go somewhere a lot more peaceful and quiet. And the list of places that I would go has gotten increasingly shorter and shorter and shorter. The list of places that I would live is even, I mean, I got 10 on this list and I struggle to get 10, really. But um, I still love the country. I still love the people. But it's what I've learned over the years that kind of matters. And I've narrowed down my likes. And I don't have to always have trendy restaurants. I mean, I like them. They're great every once in a while. I don't need new mall. I don't need malls like this. I don't really care. I'd go to a coffee shop where you got, four chairs in the whole place. It doesn't matter to me. I really don't care. And I don't need to go to some place where all the influencers are standing around with a phone and looking at themselves, taking photos of themselves, taking selfies. I don't need to go to those kind of places. I want peace and authenticity, and I want some good food that isn't triple the price because a backpacker started posting it on Instagram. I don't need any of that. And Thailand can give you all that if you know where to look. And this is the thing, when I go on a trip somewhere, when I go just anywhere in Thailand now, unless I'm going with the wife, and I'm like, all right, I'll go. Most of the time, what I'm looking for is peace. I don't want tourists. I went. I want authenticity. I don't want tourists. I don't want inflated prices. I just want the real Thailand, and that is becoming harder and harder to find. The real Thailand now, it's pricier, and there are a lot more people, and there are a lot more foreigners. Um, but that's what this morning's rather, live stream is all about. My real places I consider to be real, not the fantasy places. Oh my God, this place is so awesome. Did you see Joanne's picture on Instagram? Oh, it's the best. No, I don't. I don't need any of that BS. These are the 10 spots that if it came down to it, I would live in one of these places. Um, I come in here this morning at 10 after 8, and this guy's sleeping here. Little bastard beat me in. He beat me to my seat. Uh, so now I have to come in. I have to start coming in early again because I've seen him twice in the last month and he beat me in on both times. But I did beat him in on one time where I'm sitting there and I'm just chilling, and he came in. Oh, you're sitting in my chair, and I'm like, no, this is my chair. Anyway, um, there are places in Thailand that still have like a heartbeat, the heartbeat of Thailand, if you will. the daily rhythm that reminds you why you came in the first place. And they're very, very Thai. And, I'm going to ask you the question, do you come over here? I hear these people all the time, and they're always like, oh, yeah, I want an big expat community. Well, what did you come here for? You came here to be around other expats? You want to live in Thailand, as Thailand is, but be around a bunch of expats. I got a handful of expat friends, and I see most of them maybe once or twice a month, if that. And it's not that I don't like them. It's just that I got other things to do, and I don't have to be around a bunch of foreigners to make my life complete. And if you really want to be around foreigners, why don't you just stay back home? Find a place that you can afford, that you like, and stay home. Why come over here? What is the point? I don't get it. All right. So before we get into this subject, of course, I wrote about this sort of thing in my book, The Expat Survival Guide 2025, Living Smart in Thailand. You can purchase it directly from me. The link is down below in the description. It's also in the chat, and it's on my website at anamericaninbangkok.com. If you'd like to contact me with a message, or you have a quick question, or you just want to say hello, or you need a consultation, email me at anamericaninbangkok@gmail.com. In case you don't know, my name is Scott. I'm an American who's been living here for over 3 decades, and I do videos and live streams about expat life, life abroad, what it's like really living here versus the fantasy, what it's like in Southeast Asia, and occasionally what it's like in other parts of the world, because I do travel a fair bit. And all I would ask is that if you like this video, please click like. And if you have yet to subscribe, please do so. And remember to hit the notification bell so you'll stay informed of all the upcoming videos and streams. All right. These are my 10 go-to places to live peacefully, Thailand's gems. And this is what we're going to do. This is my personal top 10. And these are the places where I could see myself living, sleeping well, getting work done, eating the way I want to eat, and walking the beach or a river in the morning and not being surrounded by tourists, or tourists that are out partying late at 3 o'clock in the morning, causing problems or whatever. If you want the bar scene, you want cheap beer, there's a million videos on YouTube and other places about this, but this one is not about that. Oh, God. No comment. Let me set the expectations and ground rules so this is useful. The criteria that I'm using is there's got to be peace and pace. Can I walk outside and hear myself think? There has to be a hospital within a reasonable drive and a market where I can buy fish and veg, and I have decent internet. I'm not trying to hack Thailand for, say, $500 a month. Really, I'm not. It's not even $1,000 or $1,500 a month. I'm not trying to hack the cost. I always want value. That's basically what it is. I just want a decent value, but I'm not paying in. You'll see, I'm not paying for the island inflated nonsense either, and that's what you get on most of the islands. Uh, and listen, I just came back from Qualipe, and some of the prices were a bit high. I'm not complaining about them. They weren't that bad, but they were, in some places, they were definitely a lot higher than they would be here in Bangkok or many other places for that matter. And it's all because it's an island and they have to bring everything to the island. Now, um, monsoon patterns do matter. I don't want to be in crappy weather all the time. I want livable, and not insta famous. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm not going to try to sell you a dream or a condo or some other kind of fantasy bullshit. Um, None of that. Okay. I'm not pretending my place or the places I note are for everyone. This is my list made for someone who prefers calm over chaos, which that's me. Authenticity over hype. And for me, I got a family to think about. So there are certain other things that I need to think about. And, I've been thinking a lot about where we should go in Europe and then to the US. But also, I'm thinking about where to go in Thailand as our place. And I've come up with a couple of places, but I'll go over those later. Um, so treat this stream kind of as a field guide, not as gospel. If a place sounds right, you might want to spend a week there, maybe 2 weeks, outside of a high season. You rent a scooter, you buy your food from the market, and you see how it feels when you wake up in the morning. Hey, wow, this place is fantastic, or eh. And I'll tell you what, when I got to called Lipe, my first thought was, it's okay. And then as the day went by and we got to the next day and the next day, I liked it a lot. I really liked it. So give yourself a little bit of time, but I'm going to give you the upsides and the downsides. And of course, no sugarcoating it because I am sans sugar. Now, Thailand is changing. Prices are rising. Visas are shifting and in some ways getting more difficult. But the heart of the country, the places with the real community and the rhythm, they still exist. And you just have to look past all of the noise. And hopefully, there's not a lot of noise in some of these places. And you won't have to look past it because there is none. So let me get into this, the top 10 places, why they made the cut, what I love about them, what can drive you crazy, and which ones are still worth exploring before the rest of the world catches on, because eventually there's probably going to be no places left in Thailand to go like these. And that says a lot for the direction of the country. Everybody says there's not that many people coming here, or, but there's always people coming here. And you can say, oh, we lost 10%, we lost 7%, we lost 5%. Yeah, but guess what? Next year you might gain 20%, you might gain 15%. So it's about the long term and who comes here long term, who stays here, and how the place changes over the years. And it's changed a lot in 30 years, 30 plus years. It's changed a hell of a lot. And anybody who's been here knows that. And if you think otherwise, you think, oh, it hasn't changed at all. Well, you better think again. Okay. Now I'm going to go from number 10, which you may be surprised about. Well, I'm going to go from honorable mention or worth mentioning. I'm going to go from that to number 10, 9. I'm going to count it down. So the places that I'm going to say that are worth mentioning, um, I would stay, say, for a couple of weeks or maybe a month, but I wouldn't live in them. And maybe if you want to stretch it, okay. But what I find ironic is that I was looking through my notes and I found that some of the places on the above top 10 list are on my list of 5 favorite off the beaten track places in Thailand. And let's see here, 2 of the places that are worth mentioning are on that list also. So the first, and this should come as no surprise to anybody who's watched the channel, is Gokut. The thing about Gokut is there are some things to do. It is a lot of fun. It's a beautiful place, but after a couple of days, beauty becomes something that you become accustomed to. And you can say, "Oh my God, I just can't believe how beautiful this place is." And then, a couple of days later, you're like, "Wow, this place is really beautiful." But it loses a little of the shine after a couple of weeks. And for that reason, I wouldn't live there. And also because it's an island, and also because it's a pain in the neck to get to. And also, there's no real hospitals there. And it takes a bit of time to get there. It's kind of like going to Chiang in the east. It takes about an hour to get there from the coast. And then you have to, I mean, yeah, you can fly to Trot, but for the most part, most everybody I know, they don't fly. It's a couple thousand baht to fly their round trip. But I know a lot of people, they take a taxi or the bus, and they go that way. And that takes about, I think it's 4 to 5 hours. Plus, you got to take another hour to get there. So you're talking about a half a day, a solid half a day to get there. And that makes it a place that a lot of people don't want to go. They don't want that hassle. Now, I find it kind of humorous that we got 34 people here and we got 3 people that comment. That's it. I just don't understand it. Everybody is listening but not joining in, which is the purpose of a stream. It should be interactive. We should talk about things. If you agree, disagree, if you've been there, haven't been there, oh, you want to try this place out. Those are the kind of things we should talk about. The next on the list is Kochang in the south, and that is near Kopayam. Very quiet beach, but really it's good for, I know people, I've met people, they've stayed there for months. And then the water comes in, and a lot of the places are underwater and they have to leave. So maybe they're there for about 6 months and they have to leave. Now, I wouldn't want to live there for 6 months. They have things like yoga, there's people teaching yoga. There's, it's a good place to write and to uh, sit back and really do nothing. You can go swimming, you can go snorkeling, you can go diving if you really want to. You can find places that will uh, find you some spots to go diving, although the better spots are a little farther away. Um, I mean, I really like the place, but for me, a week there is enough. Then I want to leave. I don't want to live there. And it's not the kind of place that, like, I could bring my family and say, okay, we're living here for the next 6 months. We would go crazy. It's not like, oh, well, let's go to the mall or let's go and go to a nice restaurant. There is none of that. It's not that kind of a place. It's that kind of place where you wear shorts and sandals all the time, and that's about it. You can go, uh, you can go walking around. You'll see those birds. What the hell? I always forget these birds. It drives me nuts, man. Hang on a second. They're hornbills. Hornbills. That's what they are. I just said it. Hornbills. I know there's a lag, but they're hornbills, and they are massive. Here comes a foreigner trying to come into the mall at what time is it? 9 o'clock. No, we're not open. Sorry, sorry. You have to come and sit and have a coffee if you want to come in. Um, what's funny is this place was open at 10 o'clock every day. They changed it. Now it's open Monday through Thursday at uh, at 10:30 and Friday through Sunday at 10. Well, go to Koh Chang in the south. There are literally hundreds of them. You can't miss them. They're all in the trees. They're everywhere. There's little ones, big ones. I mean, there are hornbills that are massive. You would be surprised at these birds. They're pretty incredible birds, But I went walking through an area and it was just a huge forest with a little dirt path. And everywhere you look, they were up in the trees. So, Koh Chang. Now, the other place is Koh Lipe. This gets an honorable mention. This is worth mentioning because it is a nice place to go. You could go there for probably, I would say you could go there for at least 2 weeks, maybe even a month if you're doing things like scuba diving, snorkeling, swimming, kayaking, uh, hiking. There are things to do there, but you're going to have to get out and do them to stay busy. Now, after about a month, you're probably going to go, I got to get out of here. And that was me. I mean, I liked it, but I didn't feel like, you know what? Let me just get another one of these. No, ah, อีก couple. อันนี้ หายแล้ว She took double my points. Sorry, you took my points. You took my points. You took double. สแกนยังไงอ่ะไม่ได้ตอนนี้ก็ไม่ได้ after okay. She's so rough with me. I don't like that. I want to She made the mistake. It was her mistake. I get the little, I have all these points. I have enough for like 3 drinks free. So I hit the points. I said, give me a drink for free. And I hit it. And she sees it, she hits it again. And for some reason it withdraws for another drink, a second drink. And I said, why am I don't want 2 drinks. I only want one. Now I'm gonna have a second one just because I don't want to have to wait until tomorrow and I don't want her to gripe and groan if she's not here. I don't want to hear it. She did it. She hit it and she knows it. So I'm supposed to get 2 free drinks. Now I'm getting this dirty coffee and she's giving me a hard time about it, which whatever. Hopefully she's going to bring it to me, but we'll see. We're not talking about Koh Chang in the east. We're talking about the place in the south. They're different places. Everybody thinks Koh Chang is the one in the east, the big island there. That's not it. The one near Kokut. No, this is in the south. You go to Rainong, and then you have to take a boat, which is how long does it take to get there? About an hour. And then you get to the Koh Chang in the south. It's next to Koh Payam, which is a little bit more of a party island. Koh Chang is not. Everybody gets that confused for some reason. Especially if there's Chinese or Indians around because they always seem to be yelling at each other and never shut up. Well, even my family, they start speaking loud and getting crazy. And so I'm just like, I'm out of here. I'm talking about we go down to the south and my wife is yapping with her sisters and they're, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm just like, you know what? I got to get out of here. And I walk and I go somewhere. I do something. And I told her the other day, I go, listen, you know, you're yapping to the kids about nonsense. We're trying to watch a show. They're not listening to you. They're trying to listen to you and watch TV. They don't want to listen to what you're jabbering on about. They want you to be quiet, as you normally are, and they can watch the show. Then when the show's over, you can talk to them. That's how I like it. I don't like, I'm not the kind of person who likes being around of noise, which is why, like, I come in the morning here. There's very little noise here. There's very, very little noise. Now, by the time I go to the grocery, there'll be a little more noise. And sometimes, you know, I put my headphones on, and the girls that are the cashiers lately, every single one of them has been wanting to talk to me. They've been, I don't know why. They want, oh, wait, so how you come every day, or oh, you come every other day, and I haven't seen you in a while, or whatever it is. And I'm just like, oh, I didn't even really want to talk to him much, you know. I mean, I had my headphones in the other day, and this girl was talking to me, and this other girl's trying to talk to me. They're right next to each other. There's, you know, there's nobody there. It's just me. And I was like, okay. I take my headphones on. Huh? Oh, yesterday you brought your son in. He was so handsome. And, you know, I just don't want to hear all this stuff. I mean, you know, no, the dancer is not here today. She's not here. I don't know where she is. But whatever. All right, and I think this number 10 is probably going to surprise you a little bit. I'm going to make sure they give me my drink. She's making something. Hopefully she's making the drink for me. Sometimes that the one that I talk to, I get along with her great. And sometimes she's she get, I don't know, she's on, it's that time of the month, or she's just irritable. I don't know what it is, but she gets a little testy. And I'm like, don't get testy with me, honey. I'm not asking for anything special. You know, you don't want to bring it over to my table. That's fine. I'll go over and get it myself. You know, just make me what I want, and I don't want to hassle about it. That's all. You know, that's me. I don't want any BS. All right, number 10 on the list. Number 10, Chiang Rai. Now, this might be surprising to some people because I don't like the burning season. I would not live there full time, definitely. But it is very cool. It's mountainous. It's not overrun like Chiang Mai is, although it's getting that way. And it is pretty comfortable. There's a good coffee culture there, reliable infrastructure, and it is cheaper than Chiang Mai. So that's good. They're not making me my goddamn drink. I'm going to get pissed. I don't want to get pissed, but I'm going to get pissed. I'm going to go, hey, you hit it, not me. It was an accident. Now, you can live in the town, or you can live, and I wouldn't live in the town, or you can live um, in the surrounding hills, and both are easy and peaceful. Not a lot of tourists, not a lot of people. Burning season is, I just, I can't get past that. And the cooler months might not suit people like me who really like the beach. But you know, it's a nice place, and I mean Chiang Mai is a nice place, but I don't think it's as nice as Chiang Rai. And it's a perfect place to reset your head, where you get, most of the time you get fairly clean air. There's good food, no nonsense, and it's, you know, it's a pretty good place. I like it. It's not perfect, um, but it is good. Now, I can't do anything now. Wait, get me my drink. After, I will. Okay? Okay? Thank you. Jesus. All right, number 9. I want to see what happens. She's, I've been here since she started. It's been about 6 months. And she was very, very polite and sweet in the beginning. And now she's starting to be a little more standoffish, a little more prickly. The one with who dances all the time, she's all right. She's good. And the other one that's working today is very businesslike. I think she's the boss or something. I don't know. All the bosses or the assistants, they're all very matter of fact and to the point, and that's fine. I like that. All right, number 9, Sangkhlaburi. Now, these are not by the beach, obviously, and the next 2 are not by the beach, but that's okay. And these are at the bottom of my list for a reason. The reason is that I would pick these after I pick the ones at the top of my list. That's why they're not at the top of the list. I like the mountains. I like, everything about them. But I like the forest, but I don't necessarily want to live there. And Sangkhlaburi, it's kind of like a misty, multicultural, hauntingly kind of beautiful place where you wake up. If you wake up right when the sun's coming up, there's a mist over the water. It's beautiful. Um, you got the wooden Mon Bridge, the longest wooden bridge in Southeast Asia. You got the lake. You got the all the hills around it. You got I think it's is it in February? You got the bare knuckle fighting. You got Mon, Karen, Burmese, Thai, all living together. And then you have the temples, which, when the fog is out, the temples look pretty cool. And it's relatively peaceful. The downside is it is pretty remote. It takes a long time to get there. Um, it's a long haul uh, from Bangkok. You need to check your drink when drinking. Where is that? I went to Calipe in 2005. I did not like it. Boring castaway hotel with no air conditioning. Well, that's where I went. Speedboat overcrowded. It wasn't overcrowded when I went. Difficult to find a place to sit and not enough safety vests for everyone. I didn't have that problem, Pierre. I had no problem. In fact, they treated me very well at the Castaway. They they gave me uh, the best of treatment. They gave me a big bungalow. I mean, it was great. To me, it was great. And the fact that there was no air conditioning, at first I went, I was kind of bummed. Um, and really, um, I had no problems with the heat or anything like that, just because even in the middle of the day when it was hot, uh, I was like, this isn't that bad. There was a fan in there. And then at night, it was great. It was nice and cool. Now, it depends on the season, you know. So, but, that's okay. So don't go during the on season. Don't go during the high season. Why do you have to go then? Find another place to go where there's no people. I'm not saying to go there for more than about a month. I did say this is worth mentioning, but it's not the place that you want to live. How come I cannot get my drink? I really don't want to have to push her, man. Yeah, I don't know why I would have to check my drink before drinking. I mean, I do that anyway. because I don't want somebody spiking my drink. But hey, there's the one little guy sitting next to me who steals my seat every time he comes in here. He can't go sit where he used to sit all the time. Anyway, so Sangkhlaburi is a very nice place. Um, but I mean, the atmosphere there, it's different than many other Thai cities, and it's different um, because of the different cultures there. I mean, you can go walk across the bridge, and you're not in Thailand anymore. Well, you are, but it's not like it's Thailand. There's mostly Mon and Burmese and Karen. There's very few Thais over there, but it's very peaceful. Um, it's a good place to go if you just want to relax and you want to write, you want to chill, you want to go shoot photos there. I photographed the place a lot when I first went. I've been there about 5 times, and I photographed the hell out of the place. And quite honestly, now I don't really want to go for a little while. So I'll go back in a bit. Hang on. I can't give you my ไม่ได้ตอนนี้ไม่ได้เวลาเซตผมจะให้ไม่เป็นไรแต่ตอนนี้ไม่ได้เพราะว่าไลฟ์ You want I'll kick your ass I'll kick your ass เมื่อก่อนก็โชคนะจริงๆโชคกับคุณ Thank you เห็นไหมสุดท้ายก็ได้ใช้พอย Oh thank you You're so sweet you just keep smiling. That's all you got to do is just smile and smile and smile. Even if you put your fists up. She's like, you got to bring the phone. I'm like, I can't bring the phone. The phone. I'm live right now. I'm gonna have to go offline and then go back to your. I'm just like, just wait, and I'll give you the thing, okay? I come here almost every day. Like, don't you know me? Or if you don't come, I'm gonna kick your ass. That's what she said. Anyway, that's Sangkhlaburi. So we got Chiang Rai and Sangkhlaburi. The next on the list, and this is another one that might surprise you, is Nakhon Phanom. I really like that place. Now, quite honestly, I'd have to look for things to do there. I was there for 4 days, and I went on like a little cruise. You see the Naga, statue, the big Naga statue off the Mekong. It's just right on the Mekong. There is a lot of Lao and French influence there. There's great food. There is really good food. There's a promenade, and the community is supposedly very tight knit. The hospitals there are solid. Infrastructure is pretty good, and life is pretty easy there. But if you crave the sea, this is not the place for you. This is Riverside Peace. And it makes the list because it's just culturally, uh, it's a wonderful place. I don't know how to express it other than to say that. It's got a lot of charm to it. And most of the time, it's pretty quiet. And you can walk along the river, and it's a fantastic walk. It's better than, to me, it's much better than, say, Nong Khai, which I've been there many times because I used to live in Udon. Thank you. I used to live in Udon Thani, and I used to go to Nong Khai all the time. And then I go across the river and go to Lao. I don't do that quite as often anymore, but it's a lot better than Nong Khai, in my opinion. And so that's why it makes the list, number 8. But to be honest, I would, and same with Sangkhlaburi, I would struggle to find things to keep myself busy for more than about a month or two. And Chiang Rai, well, you always got Chiang Rai, and you can go to a lot of other places from Chiang Rai, and that's the kind of the beauty of it. You can go down the Mekong, you can go up the Mekong. There are things to do, but you kind of got to travel. So, all right, number 7, and this is the last place that is on the list. Well, let me see here. Yeah, this is the last place that's on the list that is not by the beach. Thank you very much. That's a little better. Much different. Hot and cold. Number 7 is Bangkok, one of my favorite places in Thailand. If not just favorite place to go, uh, that's not on the ocean. It's one of my favorite places. It's up in the northeast along the Mekong River. Actually, you can just go right from there to Nakhon Phanom. That's what I did. And there's almost zero Western tourists. There may be a few Thai tourists there. The rents there are very, very affordable. Um, um, and there are a lot of beautiful places there. If you want to get out into the outdoors, this is the place for you. There is Three Whale Rock, or uh, uh, Pusing Hin Samwan, which is Three Whale Rock. There is the Mekong Market. There is the Wat Pu Tok, Chetia Kirikan, Kiriwihan rather. That is uh, the place where you walk around the mountain and go up, and you got the little wooden platform around the side of the mountain, which is a sandstone structure. It's made out of sandstone. There's the Sangroi Bo, which is 100 wells. You go up to this place, and there's all these holes in the stones, which is pretty cool. And I did that. There's also the Elephant Stone, Hinchang, and if you wanted, you could go hiking there probably every day and never hit the same place. You can veer off to the right instead of going to the left, and the next day you go to the left. I mean, there are just so many things to do there. And this Wat Pu Tok is 359 meters tall, which is 1,178 feet above sea level. And the temple is famous for the wooden walkway, which scared the hell out of me, and the staircases that ascend the near vertical cliffs, providing access to its 7 levels. And a woman fell from this structure from about 1,000 feet up. And needless to say, that was the end of her. And she was taking a selfie. Matnak na. Okay, come on. She said she trains in Muay Thai. I don't think I'm not going to say it anyway. The Pusing Forestry Park is a jungle-laden conservation area that's home to a variety of natural wonders, with its most renowned being several awe-inspiring rock formations. Like I said, it's a great place if you're trekking and you like to be out in the outdoors. The downside is that it's far from Bangkok or any major airport, and you got to have some patience to get there. I don't even remember, how did I go? I think I took a bus and went to Nakhon Phanom, and that took me many hours. And then from there, I took a bus to get to Bangkok. The air is very clean there. There are nice people there. You're gonna get total peace there. Um, it's the very epitome of the opposite of stress. And I remember I had a hotel, and I thought, oh, I need some food. And I was like, man, there's no places here. I got to walk like 15 minutes, 20 minutes just to get to the grocery store. And I asked them, I said, I need some food. Can you guys like get me some food? I don't know, what am I going to get? And they go, oh, no problem. We'll make it for you. And I said, really? Yeah, yeah. We got a kitchen back there. We can cook you up something. I said, all right. So they cooked me up my meals the whole time I was there. And I was like, oh, this is great. You know, they was like made the order, whatever I wanted, they made it for me. But the place is so peaceful. Now, when you get to, like, I got to the forest, and one of the times that I went, what you have to do is you have to wait for like three other people that want to rent a truck. So you get like 4 or 5 people, and you pay for a truck. You pay 100 baht each. Then you all get in the back of the truck, and they take you around to all these different places. It's a tour, but it's not really a tour. They just drop you off there. They go, all right, you got 10 minutes here, you got 15 minutes here, and then you just go on to the next place. And it was pretty gnarly. It was a pretty gnarly trip. The roads, if you want to call them that, they weren't really roads. It was all bumpy dirt roads. I mean, there was flooding. It was just, yeah. It's not the kind of place where you're going to go and you're just going to go, okay, I think I'll have my espresso, and I'm going to have let me see, can I get a nice, I'd like a salmon skin roll or whatever. And they're going to go, okay, no problem. Anywhere you go, oh, yeah, you're going to be able to find whatever you want. That's not what it's like. It's the kind of place where you're going to be cooking at home, or you're going to be ordering from the restaurant at your hotel. But it is a great place. And like I said, it's probably one of my favorite places. Yeah, it's in Sangkhlaburi is in Kanchanaburi. And what's the guy? Daniel, I think. That's where he lives. And, Kanchanaburi is a nice place. And I know, you don't have to be right by the bridge or any of the tourist attractions. You can live elsewhere. And that's almost worth mentioning. But because it's not the beach, it's not really for me. I would go there I would probably go there for a week. I mean, I've been to Kanchanaburi for 3, 4 days, and that was enough. I was like, all right, it's time to come back. All right. There we go. We got some light now. Number 6. And this, it makes the list, but it's on the verge. I've been to Khao Sok. I've been to Khao Sok. I've been to, what is that other place that I went? Well, I went to Khao Lak, but what is the name of that place? No. Yeah, that's the one I went to, Khao Sok. But I thought I went to another one. I went to Khao Sok, and we went out and we stayed at this place. I mean, way far out on the lake, um, in a little bungalow, and uh, we went kayaking, we went hiking in the forest. I mean, we did all kinds of things when we were there. It was really cool. We went tubing, which was fun, except for the rocks hitting my ass because the water wasn't that deep. But it was cool. That was a nice place, and I do like Suratani. I like that province. So let me see here. Oh God. how much is that? Let me see something here. Let's see here. Yeah, it's not that bad. Okay, so I said Prachuap Khiri, and it's a little town. They do have a little bit of a boardwalk, and you know, Hua Hin is growing. It's getting more bloated. The traffic is increasing. It's just, to me, it's a tourist destination. That's what Hua Hin is. Prachuap Khiri is not so much. It's a bit dialed back from that, and that's why I like it. It's clean, it's calm, it's walkable, it's safe, and the view at sunrise there is awesome. I mean, my wife and I have been there a couple of times, and I've been there a couple more times. That's where I started when I walked across Thailand. I started and I stayed at Maggie's Guest House, which is a very inexpensive place to stay. It's like 400 baht, 300 baht, something like that. It's pretty cheap. Um, they have good small hospitals, markets, and a rather livable, livable. Excuse me. They have a livable rhythm there. You know, I mean, it's not too slow, it's not too fast, and you know, it's interesting. It's an interesting place. Now, there's not much excitement there. It can feel like a sleepy little town, and but the quality of life and the level of calmness there, uh, well, I think probably you can age pretty well if you're in that city. It's one of the places where you just don't have stress. And I took a photo a long time ago of a coffee cup when I was sitting on the boardwalk, and I'm walking along the boardwalk. It was about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I just thought to myself, man, there's nobody out here. I was like, this is unreal. The beach is empty. The boardwalk is empty. I was like, man, I need a coffee. And I just saw this little place opening up. And I went and I got a coffee cup. It was really, you know, everything was very prim and proper, very nice, quality place. It was a small place, but it was extremely high quality. They took pride in every little thing they were doing. So I sat there and had my coffee, and I was like looking out at the ocean, and I just thought, this is fantastic here. Then there's another time when I went there, and I was right on the beach, and they were doing aerobics, and they got people in the little park area away from the beach where they're doing aerobics and screaming and yelling and dancing, and I just thought, I can't do this. I don't want to be around this. It's like you go to a park and it's a nice quiet park, and then you know all of a sudden people turn up the music, and you're like, oh Jesus. That's kind of what happened to me. But you don't have to be around that if you don't want to be. So for me, that's why it's good. And again, these bottom five rather, are not really my favorite places, but they are among the favorite places. Really, to be honest, I would say, well, the first the first five are probably places that I would get a little more excited about. Some key TP ซ่อมที่ไหนที่บ้านอ๋อเหรอเวลาเป็นเด็กอ่ะ when she's a little baby she studied. She does look fit though. Okay, number 5, Laem Sai Chaya Suratani. It is a tiny mainland coastal community north of Suratani, which I don't know why, but I always love Suratani. Palm trees, fishing boats, locals who still smile when they see a foreigner. because they rarely see foreigners there. And you can live there pretty inexpensively. You can eat fresh seafood daily. You can fall asleep to the sound of the Gulf. And if you want a laid back place by the ocean, this is it. And actually, I've been there, but I want to go back because I want to check it out. And I want to tell my wife, listen, I want to check this place out for like little bungalows, little apartments, and I want to see if there is anywhere here. So I don't know if we're going to go there at the end of this month or beginning of next month. Um, we have to go to maybe Krabi. I don't know. I'm not sure yet where we're going to go, but like I said, you can live there for cheap. But there is no nightlife. There is no expat scene. Uh, there's limited shops, and it's about as local as it gets. And it is the real Thailand, and that's why it's on this list. And it's getting rarer, more and more rare that you find the real Thailand in Thailand. I mean, Thailand as we know it as the traditional Thailand. And a lot of people may like Isan, they may like the Chiang Rai areas. For me, my favorite area of the whole country is in the south. Maybe it's because the Southerners are known as being very direct. They don't say a whole lot, which is great. Even my wife, she doesn't say a whole lot, but when she talks, like to my kids or her sisters or whoever, it's yeah. When she has something she wants to talk to me about, she opens up. But for the most part, Southerners do not talk all that much, and I like that. So that's a good place. And I did not want to stay on Samui because first of all, it's an island, and second of all, they got the little mafia there. And third of all, it's a tourist area, and you're always going to be running into tourists. So for me, Samui is a no go. How about Chumpon? What's the name of this spot again? Laem Sai, Chaya. It's in Suratani province. And Suratani province is huge. You can go inland and you're 2 hours away from the ocean. And that's where we live. That's where my wife's house is. So, we have a place down there. I just don't want to live there to where I'm like, every time I want to go to the beach, I got to take a half a day trip just to get there. But the good thing is it's inexpensive. That's always good, right? You don't have to pay much. Another thing is, and I remember us going there, and we just went early in the morning. My wife and I, we went there early in the morning, and we're chilling out right there on the ocean, and we're walking, and we get down to like a little cove. You couldn't go any farther, but there was like a sidewalk, it's like a boardwalk. And we get there, and there's somebody sitting there opening up oysters and shucking the oysters. I don't know why. And then, they were shucking some of them. They were putting some of them in a bag. They were doing all kinds of things. So we were just like, can we get some of these? Yeah, yeah, okay. We got a bunch of oysters. And I was like, it's like, 100 baht for like a huge amount of them. I was like, holy shit. They're like, oh, yeah, down there you can get some shrimp. And we walked back, got some shrimp. I mean, it was like, I couldn't believe how much we spent, you know. So that's a good place. And like I said, I always like Suratani. That place is the first place where I would really be excited to live. Now, number 4 is Krabi, Klong Muang, Cubcat. And, if you know anything about Krabi, you know that it's a stunning area because of the cliffs, the limestone cliffs. You can see a lot of islands in the distance. There's clear water. But the trick is to avoid Ao Nang. That is the circus. Um, well, there's always garbage on the beach. I mean, even in Caulipe, garbage on the beach. And I'm like, this is one thing that I don't like. And this is the one thing to me that keeps Thailand from being a high value destination. This is what keeps the really big spenders from coming here because they know I got a 5-star hotel. I walk out and I go out and I'm on the beach and oh, there's some garbage. Nobody wants to see the garbage. Nobody. I don't want to. And I just took a picture uh, 2 days ago. I was walking over to the postal place. There's a postal place next door. It used to be in the mall. Thank you, Jim. Um, yeah, I'm getting there a lot faster than I was in the past. Now I'm starting to pick up some momentum, um, and that's good. Made it to 19,000. Now I got to make it to 20,000. I don't know if I can do it by the end of the year, but maybe by the end of next year. So we'll see what happens. Um, but if you go down to Krabi, you go in the town, there's a lot to do, there's people to see. It is a bit touristy. There's a lot of people there that are catering to people who want to go to nearby islands or who want to see things and they want to do things. It is a little bit higher cost of living if you want Western conveniences, but it's still reasonable. And it's got the kind of postcard beauty that people want, and you don't have the headache. For the most part, you don't have the headache. If you remember, I went to Rai during the COVID, and the hotel was normally something like 1,800 baht, and I got it for like 800. And then I went around and like there was like maybe like 3 to 5 people at every place I went. I went walking around on the beaches. There might have been like 5 people on the beach, and there's only 3 beaches there. And then I took a longtail boat and went all around. I went from island to island, and I went to one island. There was nobody on the island except there were like 3 workers, and that was it. It was just me and 3 workers and the boatman. And I like doing these kind of things. So Krabi could be a place. Actually, I don't know if that deserves to be number 4 or number 5, but I like it because it's on the coast. It's not an island, and you can go there and you can see the sights. But if you pick carefully, you can stay somewhere that is not all that expensive, and you get beautiful views all the time, and you don't have the hassle that you would have in a lot of other places. All right, so let's get to it. Number 3 is Chumpon, which is a nice place. Um, and if you remember, I went there for, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. And, the only thing I didn't like was the sand fleas on the beach. One of the beaches that I went to, I got sand fleas. And I had to take some medicine, and, you know, that sucked. But other than that, I was not right in the city. I was near the beach. And I went to a couple places. I went and had a beer at a place that was just opening up. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning. Beautiful girl helped me out. Um, you know, nice looking girl. She was the owner of the bar, I guess, or her parents or something. And there was nobody anywhere on the boardwalk. And that was like the one of the only places open. There were some food places open, and I went and had some breakfast. Then I was like, oh man, it was really hot. I mean, it was hot where I was sweating profusely. And so I stopped and had a nice cold beer, and it was fantastic. That place was so nice. And then I don't know if some of you remember, but I was staying in this place, and basically the rooms were tents. They were like these big blue canvas tents. I mean, they had air conditioners in them. So they were very stout, but it was 500 baht a night. I think that's what it was. Um, 500 baht a night. And it was fantastic. I mean, it was so nice. And it was no different to me than any other hotel room. It was it was magical. And I go out, and the lady was so helpful. I'd be like, "Do you know where this is?" And she go, "Oh, you want to go there?" And I go, "Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not that far, I don't think." And she goes, "Well, you can't walk there." I go, "Really?" She goes, "No." And I go, "Well, okay, well, maybe I'll call a motorcycle." She goes, I'll take you there. And she would take me. She was cool. And then it was like I started walking around, and I went next door, and next door were a couple of places where they made food. And then I went there, and I asked the lady, "Can you make me this? Can you make me that?" She's like, "Yeah, no problem." She cooked me up good meals, and it was like 40 baht or something. It was really cheap. And this is about 3 years ago. They were really cheap, really nice, and I really liked Chumpon. And again, I don't, 3, 4, and 5. Maybe 5 is number 3, maybe 3 is number 4, maybe 4 is number 5. I don't know. You could interchange them. Um, yeah, you know. Well, I mean, it's a nice place. That's the bottom line. It is a nice place. You're not, most people are not going to be unhappy with this. Now, if you were to live in the city is not that far away from the ocean. But, if you were to live in the city, I don't know, maybe you wouldn't want to live there. I don't know. I mean, I didn't spend that much time in the city, to be honest. I was tootling around I was at all the beaches. And, that's what I did. So, it would take some getting used to. And that's why maybe that's number 4. Number 5 is Krabi, or number 4 is Krabi, and number 5. But actually, I'm thinking maybe Laem Sai might be number 3. I don't know. You could, they make a case. They're tied for number 3. That's what I would say. They're all tied for number 3. Okay. Like I said, well, let me just tell you something. This is Many people go to Chumpon just to go to some of the islands, so it's still kind of low key. They might stay there for a night or something. But beaches like uh, Tunghua Land they're very long. They're very open, and you can still find houses at pretty reasonable prices. There's an airport and a city center with hospitals, and it's real Thai living, like I've been saying. And the coast is it's really relaxed there. Nobody's really overly uptight or anything like that. It's the rare mix of livability, affordability, and easy transportation. I mean, you get a motorbike, you'd be able to go just about anywhere there. That's fine. All right. Now, number 2 and number 1 should come as no surprise to anybody, because these are some of my favorite places. And actually, um, number 2 is Khanom, which is in Nakhon Phanom. Now, you can find a host of places to go in Nakhon Phanom, but I really liked Khanom. It's quiet, authentic, still very, very Thai. There's many kilometers of coastline. There are pink dolphins, although you have to find them. And when I went looking for them, I didn't find them. There is great local seafood, and it's very, very fresh. I mean, I had seafood there 3 or 4 times, and it was fantastic. You can rent a small house there for 10 to 15,000 baht a month. You walk down to the beach. I mean, I walked across the street from where I was staying. I paid 500 baht a night for the place that I stayed, which it was a 1 bedroom. It was a small bit 1 bedroom uh, duplex, and it was very nice. Air conditioning, refrigerator, kitchen. It was very, very nice. And then I'd walk outside, and I walk about. It was about, I would say, probably about 7 minutes, something like that. I'd walk across the street, go down a little path, boom, I'm right at the beach. And I'll tell you what, the beach was so damn hot on my feet without sandals on. it was burning my feet. That's how hot the sand was. It was so hot. It's still very, very quiet there, very authentic, very Thai. Um, and the downside is that the infrastructure and healthcare are minimal. So you're going to have to drive into Nakhon Phanom City for anything major. But it is still untouched. It's beautiful. It's peaceful. I think it's a little more touched now than it was when I went, which is probably, I don't know, a year ago, something like that. This is the Thailand that people imagine and some people never ever get to see because they just stay in Bangkok or they go to Chiang Mai or hey, I'm going to go to Pattaya, and this is what they get. You know, they're not going to get uh, Khanom when they're going to those places. Can't believe I drank two of those. Jesus Christ. What are you talking about, Jay Easy? The dancing girl is not here. I don't see Donut. I don't know the other one's name, and she's a stickler. She's like, she's only thinking about work. Okay, numero uno, Chon. A little bit north of Khanom and even more quiet with the mountain meets the ocean scenery that a lot of foreigners miss entirely. It's raw Thailand. There are a few markets, a few restaurants, a few foreigners who found this place and they want no attention. They're not like the guys going, oh, I want to be part of an expat community. Listen, I've never wanted to be part of an expat community. I'm part of a community online here, and this is all I want. I mean, really, I had a guy just a few minutes ago who wrote me and he said, "Why don't you come up to what is it? I think it was PMI." Now, this guy's never messaged me. I don't know this guy from Adam, and while I think it's nice, um, I'm not going somewhere to meet somebody that I don't know in a place that I don't really um, I mean, I that's in Karat. I don't want to go to Karat all that bad. I've been to Karat, and there are some nice things there, but I don't want to go there. I'm not. I just don't want to. Why? I'd rather stay at home. You know, my place is comfortable. I got everything I want, everything I need. It's very comfortable. So if I'm going somewhere, I want to be somewhere where if it's not comfortable, there's something amazing there. And if there's nothing amazing there, then I want it to be comfortable. And we're considering going to Kolanta. Now, if she doesn't go, I'll go. But I also want to go to. I want to go look for a place at. Um, let's see here. At what the hell is it? Laem Sai, Chaya in Suratani. I want to go there, and I don't know if I can find one. And actually, it's better. You're better off looking for something in Thai and then trying to get it while you're looking at it and trying to figure out, okay, these are the places I want to give a try. Then you go there and you try these places out. That's better to me than now you got to look in Thai. You don't want to look in English. If you look in English, you're going to get places, and maybe you get lucky, but most of the time you're going to get places that um, you don't want to stay, or I wouldn't want to stay there. You know, they're like a hotel. But number one um, is Sichon, and it's kind of isolated. It's a bit slow, and that is exactly why I like it. It's the kind of place you go to live and not to escape, not to visit. You go there because you want to live there. Now, I already went over the places that are worth mentioning. Uh, Kokut, Kochang, Kolipe. Lipe is good for 2 weeks, really tops. Takes about 3.5 hours to get there altogether from the airport, Hat Yai Airport. Kochang in the south near Kopayam. To me, it's only good for about 2 weeks. That's it, max. But there are people that stay there for months and months and months, and that takes about an hour uh, from Renong, and then Kokut. I don't even remember where you are. To be honest, I don't. A bit longer. Those first are just holiday spots. Well, to me, they're not holiday spots. They're places where I would live. So, I mean, that's I would live in Sichon. I would live in Khanom, and what else? What was the other one? I don't even remember. Chumpon. Yeah, I don't know. Chumpon maybe. Yeah. I mean, you know, if you go to Sichon, you should go to Khanom. You go to Khanom, you can go see the pink dolphin if you want to do that. But Sichon is a bit more quiet, and I liked it just because I liked the beaches because there was nobody on the beaches. I drove a motorbike down there. Listen, this is the truth. I drove a motorbike down, and I thought to myself, you know, usually I think I'm not getting a motorbike. There's no way because I don't want to get into an accident and then, um, uh, oh, Kokut, okay. I don't want to get into an accident because you know, I'm older and I just don't want to have anything happen. But I went to a couple of places and I just went, there's only one or two cars on the road at any time. I'm like, what the hell? I went, that's it. I'm renting a motorbike. I rented a motorbike. You know, it was like 300 a day. And I was driving around and I just had the best time. I went down to Sichon, went down to one of the beaches, got my drone out, started flying my drone, and there was nobody on the beach. There was a little coffee shop, a little tucked away. I went to that, chilled out for a little bit, go back down to the beach, nobody there. And I'm like, this is fantastic. This is awesome. Kokut, Kalipe, Kochang. Well, if you know Kochang in the south, not the east, first of all, it's quite a bit different. Not boy, not boy. Um, you know it's a different kind of place. It's the kind of place where you just go. Maybe you go wake up, you jump in the ocean, you have breakfast, you come back, you chill out, you listen to some music. Maybe you write, you paint. Maybe in the afternoon you do some yoga. You know, whatever. That's the kind of place it is. That's nothing like Guachang in the east. Okay, Gokut. I wouldn't want to live there just because I think I would just get bored after a little while. And Qualipe, you know, I would stay there for a little while, but then eventually I would just go, you know, I'm bored with this place. I could stay there probably for a month and go snorkeling, scuba diving. But you know, you got to have something to keep you active there. And the good thing is If you want to go snorkeling there, you just walk off the beach with a mask, fins, a snorkel, and you just start snorkeling. And there's fish, there's all sorts of marine life, and you can have a great time. Only tourists here are Scandinavians. And maybe I would like it. I don't know. Perhaps. Perhaps it's a good place. I've heard a lot of good things about Rayong. Anyway, what was I saying? Where was I? What am I doing? After a long period of time here, and after having traveled throughout Thailand, and the thing is I might have traveled to a place 20 years ago, and I haven't been there in 20 years, and I just, for whatever reason, I decide I don't want to go back. And then if I go back, it's much different than what it used to be. So, I mean, any place can be good. It just depends on when you hit it, you know, where you're going, and but Thailand rewards balance, and if you chase convenience, you lose the charm. If you chase cheap, you lose the comfort. But if you pick right, you get the real deal. And I think my list of 10 is pretty good. I could add a couple more if I wanted. Thailand can still feel alive. And listen, I went to Kalipe, and it's low season, and I still had a good time. You know, and maybe we'll go to Lanta. I don't know. I'm not sure where we're gonna go. I have no idea, man. When it comes to my wife, I got no idea. That's why I like to go by myself sometimes. Um, but I would say don't just move here. You got to test it out. Spend a week or two or a month at your top two choices. Make sure you got enough money to stay for a couple of months. Walk around the markets on the weekends. Talk to the locals and see how you feel when you wake up. See how you feel at night before you go to bed. See the feeling you get. If you wake up happy, that might just be your spot. And you got to keep your expectations real. The farther away from Bangkok, the slower the bureaucracy, the more beautiful the view. Usually, the weaker the Wi-Fi. Although I got to say, uh, when I was on Lipe, I had great coverage, and I was trying to go to Tarutao, but they weren't taking people at the time, and so that got nixed. And there they have a little bit of coverage, and I was looking forward to seeing, am I going to be able to get coverage here? The cheaper the rent, the harder the work, the harder you will work for Western comfort. And if you can accept these trade-offs, then you'll find what probably 95% of foreign tourists never find, and that is true peace in Thailand. And I'd say if you want to find parts of Thailand that are livable and not really kind of like pseudo Thai or rather laughable, then the list of this 10 is pretty good. And there are a couple of others. There are some places I didn't mention, and we'll keep those for another time. But that's the way it goes. There's some places that you're gonna love, and there are places that I love, and maybe you're not gonna like it. I mean, I guarantee you that if you went to Koh Chang in the south, after about 2 days, you'd be like, so what do I do here? But I found there to be, a handful of things to do there, and it was very, very nice, and it was very peaceful, and just going and having a swim for a half an hour or an hour in the morning, and going having a swim in the evening, and that helped keep me a little bit busy. So that's kind of my advice. Um, you got to visit first. There's so many people that message me and go, yeah, I really want to come to Thailand. I've been there. I visited, back in, 5 years ago. You've been there 5 years ago. You were in Bangkok. You never went anywhere else. Well, so how do you know these places you're talking about? Oh yeah, I've seen it online. Nothing beats feet on the ground. Period. You know, um, I mean that's the truth. Nothing can beat that, and that's the thing. And that's basically how I've accumulated some knowledge here. It's not because I'm so smart, not because I'm extremely intelligent and I pick up things so fast that I'm like, oh wow. Oh. No, it's just that over time it's been drilled into me. Many things have been drilled into me because I've been here, I've been there, and I see what people are doing. I see what the Thais are doing, how they're acting, what they think about certain situations. That's the only reason, really. As a past diving instructor, I can say the best diving is on the Andaman side. Yes, I think it's the Similian Islands. God damn it, Similan. That's what I'm trying to say, not Similian. And that is the Andaman Sea. But you can also get to there from Guachang in the south and from Kopayam, because actually the German guy that I hung out with, I was going to go to Kopayam, and I'm standing there and I was like looking around and I'm like going, well, I hope it's quiet, I hope it's what I want. And so I'm talking to this guy, and turns out to be a German guy. He's walking around. He says, oh, I've been there many times. And I said, really? He says, yeah, if you want peace and quiet, you don't want to go to Kopayam because it's a bit of a party place. I said, really? He said, yeah, you know, better you go to Koh Chang. It's right, the island next over. And I said, oh, okay. So then I asked him, I said, I asked the people who I was getting the ticket from, same price, same everything. Yeah, yeah, no problem. I said, okay, take me to Koh Chang. And then I went to Koh Chang. I didn't have a reservation, didn't have anything. I just went to this place I knew about. And they said, okay, yeah, no problem, 500 baht a night. And I was like, cool, I'm there. So that German guy, he told me the reason he was there is because he was going to go diving in the Similan Islands. And he said that he went every year. And so, I was like, okay, that sounds great. Go every year. Have a good time, you know. Um, Now, I don't want to talk about the Israelis acting up in where is it? Where were they acting up in? Let me see if I can find this real quick. Like Kopangan. There's another set of incidences or an incident or whatever. Now, local authorities and business operators are raising concerns over the behavior of some Israeli visitors and the rise of foreign-run businesses on the southern island. Reports of tensions have emerged and on neighboring Koh Samui involving Israeli tourists and business operators. Listen, how many places? I'm curious to know. Let me see here. because a lot of places they don't even let Israelis into their country. And Thailand has been very gracious, but 16 countries deny Israeli passport holders: Afghanistan, Algeria, Bangladesh. I don't know why Bangladesh denies them, but okay. I think it's because of their behavior. Brunei, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Lebanon, Libya, Malaysia, Maldives, Oman, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Syria, and Yemen. I'd say that most of these basically the restrictions are due to politics and their ideological reasons, not necessarily because of bad behavior. So Thailand tries to do things that still allow them to get the money, but then they've got to crack down a little bit, and they don't really crack down on a lot of the Muslims and a lot of the Israelis. I'm sorry, um, and whatever. But when they start having problems, um, super peaceful here. If I wasn't here, I'd be looking at Khanom and Chon. No, no place is perfect. That's for sure. It depends on what you want to do. That's the big thing. What do you want to do when you go somewhere? For me, I don't want to do a whole lot of much. I want to go to a coffee shop. I want good food, good grocery stores. I want some good restaurants. Um, what else? Things to keep me busy. I want maybe an area to go, like a forest or whatever, a mountain. But I would like a beach or beaches. Beaches being the optimal word. I like to fly my drone. I like to do all kinds of stuff. So for me, being by the beach is best. You know, Prajuap is nice because you have a little bit of both. You have the mountains, and I think Prajuap is the place. Let me see here. Uh, yeah, in Kuibari National Park, located in Prajuap Khiri Khan Province. It's one of the best places in Thailand to see wild elephants in their natural habitat with a high chance of sightings on guided tours. Um, well, they're a hell of a lot better than Chiang Rai. I can tell you that right now. Easy, easy, much, much better. You have other things to worry about besides the pollution there. You have pollution from the sea, and you also have like monsoons, typhoons, those kind of things. So, yeah, monsoon seasons. I mean, it rained. Actually, I didn't put it up yet. I'm gonna put it up. I'll put it up on my Instagram, and maybe I'll put it up in YouTube if I can. I don't know how. Maybe it's just a short, but um, it rained so hard there. One minute I'm walking along, the next minute I feel a couple of drops, and then like it just came down so hard, and I was like, holy sheep shit! I can't believe this. And I was walking along, and I had to scoot over, and I was standing under this ledge, and this lady goes, "Oh, come inside, come inside." So I go, all right, I go inside to her little place, and I noticed she had a coffee machine. I said, "You make espresso?" "Yes." I said, "Let me have an espresso." I sat there and had an espresso. It was like 60 baht. Good espresso. And it just rained and rained and rained. I sat there for about 2 hours. But she was very nice. How are those? I'm talking about monsoon seasons. Well, obviously they're a bit different from Chiang Rai, but the monsoon seasons can be very bad at times. And like I said, in Lipe, uh, that rain was so bad I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was. I didn't even want to walk because like sometimes if it rains, I'll just go. I don't care if I get wet. I'm wearing swim trunks. Maybe I'm wearing a t-shirt. Maybe I'm not wearing a t-shirt. I don't care if I get wet. You know, I'll go out in the rain, but that rain, I didn't want to go walking around in. About 30 minutes from the beach, here is a big national my waterfall, wild elephants. I saw a recent video on Chon. Everyone there was happy, locals and tourists. Well, that can be a little bit misleading. I understand that, but Chon and Khanom are very nice places. And if you have your act moderately together, then those places are good places for you. And they're very chill. You know, rain dumpage in the south. When you say dumpage, what do you mean? I don't know about dumpage. When it rains, it pours. But I mean, listen, it pours here in Bangkok. I mean, it's really bad sometimes. I don't even want to walk around, even with an umbrella. I don't want to walk around sometimes because it's really really heavy, and sometimes it gets a little bit windy. But that's the way it goes. Oh, I mean, listen, it rains extreme in Bangkok, man. I mean, I've been all over, and I would say yes, the South rains pretty hard, but it rains hard in Bangkok. I mean, I've been here in Bangkok where I couldn't even see in front of me because it was raining so hard. I'm like, there's no way I'm going out. I mean, if it rained, I would. If it rained like it was raining really hard, I would not come to the mall here and stream. I would stream from home. Uh, and you would hear the rain outside the house. And I mean, yesterday it started raining, and I was going to come over here. I needed to get some notepads, and I thought, oh, I'm going to go get some notepads. Then I look outside, and I go, son of a bitch, and I heard the rain. I looked outside; it was absolutely pouring rain, and I just went, I can't handle this. I can't go. I can't go now. I'm gonna have to wait for a while. And I had to go a couple hours later. I just needed some notepads. Which you couldn't find online the way that I wanted them. I was like, what the hell? But they're selling them for about 35, 45 baht in the, I think it's B2B. But anyway, as I said, don't move here without testing the waters. Wherever you're going to live, wherever you think you might live, test out the waters, figure it out, and do it that way. Uh, Please remember to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, hit the notification bell. And if you'd like to show your support for the channel, you can do so by um, joining the VIP section for as little as $1.99. Don't forget about my book, The Expat Survival Guide 2025, Living Smart in Thailand. The link is below in the description, also in the chat, and on my website, anamericaninbangkok.com. If you want to send me a letter, you need a consultation, you want a quick question answered, uh, email me at anamericaninbangkok@gmail.com. But that is pretty much all the time I have. Have you seen it? One side of the road is wet and the other is dry. No, I haven't seen that. I have not seen that. Not that I remember. Um, anyway, I hope you guys learned a little something. I mean, you don't have to go to all these places. Some of you have probably been to some of these places already. But there are a couple of them that I would definitely go to. If you don't like the forest, don't go to Sangkhlaburi. Don't go to Chiang Mai. Maybe don't go to Bunkan or Nakhon Phanom. Prajup Kirikan has a mix. It's, to me, it's better than Hua Hin for sure. Laem Sai, cool place. Krabi is always good. You just have to pick and choose really where you go, because where you go determines how many people, what type of people you're going to be around. And that's the thing. I don't want to be around a bunch of stupid tourists who are like, Margaret, look at this. Or some Chinese lady screaming at the top of her lungs. I just don't want to be around it. Chumpon is a cool place. Chon, Khanom, very nice places. I had a great time in Khanom. And Chon, I didn't stay in Chon, but I went there almost every day. And I hung out there. I had lunches. I flew my drone. I did all sorts of things. So you can be assured that out of these 10 places, there are a couple that you should like. So pick and choose the ones that you feel good about. Anyway, that is all I have. My time is done. And, a lot of people can't afford a couple of months, so stay there a couple of weeks. You got to be able to stay there for at least 2 weeks to a month, at least. And if you can't, then I don't know, but you're really ready to move here. Honestly, I think you need to get a lay of the land, and that's just the way it is. Get the lay of the land, man. Anyway, I am Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. Uh, we're talking about living there. I don't care if you're retired or you're living there 6 months out of the year or whatever you're doing, but I'm talking about living, not visiting. Visiting is a different story. I have other places, and some of these are on the list, but I have other places that are for visiting. Calcut is worth mentioning, but I would definitely visit there at least once. Well, what does it matter? The work is not something that most people are thinking of. If you want to live somewhere, you either have a passive income, you either have income from, you're retired there, you have income from Social Security, from a pension, you have property that you're renting out, whatever it may be. But they're not, usually people are not, most people don't come to Thailand because they want to work here. I mean, some do. I'm not saying that there's nobody who works here, but let's face it, it's very closed off to foreigners. And, you know, uh, I would say it's very difficult for people to find work here, you know. And, I mean, I did it a couple of times and I was really lucky. I mean, that's how I look at it. I was lucky. I got uh, into the media, and I was sponsored by a couple of magazines, but one magazine for a couple of years, then another magazine for a couple of years, and that worked out well. And then I worked with a boxing team, and that worked out well for me too. That worked out really well. Um, and that was too bad, and I kind of knew at some point it might end, but it was fun while it lasted. Everything that's taken me to where I am now is has been great. And now, I'm older and wiser, and that's good enough for me. I'm fine now. I'm very relaxed and very mellow, and I don't get bothered by much anymore. Not like I used to. Anyway, that's really all I have. So I will talk to you all later. You guys take care. I'll see you. I think I'll see you on Wednesday. I think Wednesday is my birthday. Yes, it is. So I'll see you again, like last year. I'll see you on my birthday. Happy birthday to me. The one day I may have like a cupcake or something. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Sorry, Arthur. not much I can say about that. We're at the end of the stream. But chokey to everybody. Jerk and my. I will see you all later. And that's it. Take care.